Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Battle Operation 2, and this is a round I got in I think it's the level 2 G-3 Gundam. That got buffed last month in the big buff month, which it got some decent skills and stats. They increased the level of its maneuver armor and assault booster, gave it a few other perks. But the most interesting thing they did is they gave the beam rifle a good overhaul. I believe it does more damage, it charges faster, and it has a special, I forget what they call it, overdrive skill, something like that. That's not the right word, but it's basically, it has a skill like the Full Armor Unicorn's Gatlings, where if the heat gauge is full and you hit the reload button, you will go into a special mode that changes its qualities. Those qualities become an instant stun, which I just used, and you can also use it while boosting. So I feel like that is a really good choice for the G3. The G3 was basically one of the first maneuver armor based ranged raids, which, yeah, and giving it the ability to fire while boosting, I feel like really kind of helps strengthen that role at the current, in the current setup for the game. So yeah, I like that. It's nice, and I always liked the G3. It got buffed a bunch of times because even at the beginning of the game, maneuver armor was not quite enough to do what they really kind of wanted it to do, and they've been dancing the dance ever since of trying to give stun resistance to things without making them completely overpowered. But yeah, the G3, yeah, like I said, got buffed a bunch of times. This set I like the feeling of. But yeah, the hyper bazookas have always had a little bit of a like slowness to ready up and reload. So being able to activate that special beam rifle ability definitely gives you a little bit more versatility in terms of multiple stuns, which pretty much every raid at 450 and up needs at this point. That might be overstating it a little bit, but man, it helps. Yeah, it's I like how I like it. I meant to put this in the colors that the Gundam has in the G-Quux finale, but because those are basically more or less the G3 Gundam colors from the novelization, because it is just described there as a gray mobile suit. But I didn't quite. I did it on one account, but not the other, and then wound up getting the round I liked on this account. So I have tweaked the colors here because a lot of modern versions of the G3 swap out the sky blue from the original MSV for purple, and I prefer the blue. I'm blue. Blue is just still one of my favorite colors. I mean, my personal colors sort of for the game are orange and red and gold just because I felt like it, but just yeah, I like blue. That's my favorite color. That's what most of my shirts are. You have a couple of nice red shirts actually, but yeah, 8620 to 7175 at the moment. We're doing fairly well. I think I've done all right with it. And yeah, like I said, I like that oh yeah, they also strengthened the shield incidentally. But yeah, I like that they got creative with the sub weapons for the buffs. Just the new abilities are always welcome. And that is not just strengthening things that were already there, but just creating interesting modifications. I like that. That's great. And yeah, went straight for the instant stun, which didn't matter because I hit the shield. I swear the red pants there, just on that hazel type, are based on something, but I don't know what. Just I swear I recognize that color scheme. Yeah, I only wanted to do a neutral because I didn't want to knock that red Gundam over. So let's see, someone's defusing the bomb. I hope they're getting cover. Activated the skill. I think either the Hazel shield or its maneuver armor ate the stun. So, see, I think, I'm not sure which Hazel type that is, but it probably has maneuver armor. I think it might be the Hazel High Mobility Custom, because it does seem to be a raid, given that I'm not getting advantage or disadvantage showing up. Oh, disadvantage. Never mind. It's the standard Hazel. What am I saying? Things. That's the problem. And missed. Hazel did not. I've still got health. Red Gundam took it out for me though. So, but now I'm out of boost and kind of surrounded by all the living enemies. So yeah, that's gonna be a death. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Narrative Gundam got me. I finally got the level 1 of that. I want to get a good round with it. It just hasn't happened yet. But I was trying to do it at level 3 or 4, so maybe having it at level 1 will be more helpful. And I also wound up getting the level 2 of the RF Goof, which I was not expecting. And then on my main account, I got some other things you'll see in the next few days, which kind of were pleasantly bewildering to just get in rapid succession. But I'll tell that story when I get there. But okay, yep, taking some hits. G-Quck's tackled, so the good news is when it's out of boost, it cannot use its either of its dodges, so because you have to be boosting to use its special dodge. And I'm gonna croak again. Yep, yeah, I took a lot of damage in this one, just kind of trying to get in there and fight, and it's a struggle. But let's see. We are maintaining a lead though, with 90 seconds or so to go, so that's not the worst news. And yeah, I'll jump back in and see what I can do in a second. And yep, and we seem to be more or less just kind of, yeah, setting up at the base. Yeah, said fall back for now. Good advice, I think. Sometimes I have trouble, holding a defensive position for this long, for a full minute or more at the end of a round. Like, sometimes I feel like falling back to your base just kind of puts you all in one convenient place for the enemies to shoot at you. But yeah, just focusing on defense regardless of where or how you do it is worth doing. Managed to get a stun in there. Scoping in's always good. Got one. Well, actually, I think they were still landing, so that didn't count as a stun, but I did the damage. And yeah, I'm just kind of crouching near the base because I can, I can play artillery relatively well, and I may as well, since I have been getting myself surrounded and killed, I may as well just mostly stay there. Now I'm moving forward, support the team a little more, but yeah, the object of the game there was to not get myself good and killed. So, and snuck in a kill at the last second, so that I'm not going to say no to that either. But yeah, that went really well, and like I said, G3's buffs feel good. So that just leaves the proto. So hopefully next month and not like November or whatever. But yeah, that Yuma Lightning Gelgug did really well, 106,000 damage. And 6 and 4 and 86k, I will take that. That is going to do it for today's Gundam Battle Operation 2. We'll be back soon with more. Till next time, everybody take care and have fun. Later. Okay, so G3 got, at level 1, got another close range slot, went from 13 to 14. Another mid range slot went from 16 to 17. And 3 more long range slots went from 3 to 6. Forced Injector went from level 1 to level 2, which, I've complained about Forced Injector level 1 a fair amount. You can change directions mid boost, but at level 1, you're going to use most of your boost gauge doing it. Level 2 is where that tends to become viable. It gets Forced Injector level 3 if you're playing level 5 G3, and that is definitely, even better. Assault Booster got adjusted to level 2, so you should charge your jump faster and and be harder to knock out of it. At level 4 and above, it gets Assault Booster level 3, and likewise, it gets Maneuver Armor level 3 at level 4 and up. But yeah, the beam rifle now does 1450 damage instead of 1400 for every uncharged shot. Just like the Gundam's revised beam rifle, it's 1 second between shots now instead of 1.5. Overheat time was reduced from 15 seconds to 10. Charge time was shortened from 2.5 seconds to 2. More build stun, faster beams, and yeah, the limiter release increases power, increases build stun, and oh no, excuse me, that's charge shots. Get more power, more build stun, and more speed. Release limiter, yeah, performance changes, allowing use during high speed movement. So yeah, you can fire it while boosting, and it will stun. I don't think it does the ignore maneuver armor thing the Sinanju does. That would probably be a little strong at 450, but it would need testing. The G-3 shield now has 3,500 hit points instead of 2,500. So, and let's see, yeah. Since the month is rolled over, we can see like the post adjustment stats and see how they did. At 450, the raid average is 50.9% win rate. Before buffs, the level 1 G3 had 47.7. It now has 51.3, so that's pretty solid. Rival win on average for raids at 450, 50.6. G3 had 48.9. It now has 50% even, so not bad. Damage dealt on average for raids is 68,000. G3 was doing 55,000, now doing 60,000, so definitely an improvement, though still a little bit, behind the curve. MS losses were 3.6 on average for raids. G3 was 3.4, and it is now 3.5, which is kind of interesting. I feel like that's probably because it's getting used more often, quite honestly. People haven't looked at it and forever decided to take it out, but see how that works out in the long run. Similar increases at level 2, like at level 2 where I was playing it. The buffs are pretty much all spot on. They brought the average up to, or the win average up to 50.5% for the average across raids 50.6. They nailed rival win. It is at the average of 50.5%. Again, still behind the curve on damage. 75k is the average for raids. Was doing 52k, now doing 64. At 500, though, it's now having fewer losses. 550, yeah, again, everything's being more or less brought in line. Damage is still well under the average at every level. Interestingly, the level 3, 4, and 5 are all taking much more losses than they were. 2.8 was what the G3 was getting. It's now at 3.3, which at 550, which is the average for raids at that cost. So, yeah, that just kind of reinforces my idea of people are using it more because, yeah, like all of the losses are going up for that. So, since it got stat increases and all, that wouldn't make any sense unless it was just having the opportunity to explode more often. But interestingly, it is still well below the average damage at every level. So, it's definitely been brought up. Like the 650 is at 20k more damage than it used to do. But I suspect with those numbers, probably it's going to end up buffed again at some point.